ClancyPasta presents File Error S4T-4N, written by Kikito. I'm a wannabe computer programmer. That is, I heard it was a field that made a lot of money if you were good at it, and reasoned that I was pretty good with computers, so I could probably do it. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Writing code is something I'm definitely not good at. Not only is it infuriating to miss one tiny bracket or comma and have everything go sideways, but also I found typing up any specific function to be amazingly boring. The teacher would drone on, instructing the class how to create the sequence for a specific function. The keyboards of the other students around me could be heard clicking furiously as they tried to keep up. And well, by then I would have already given up. Too hard for me. It's a vicious lazy streak, I know. Instead, I would assure myself I'd catch up once I got home when I could really study. You know, without all the distractions of class. Never turned out that way, of course. However, coming in late to class one day, I tuned in, as best I could, to hear the professor explain how to remove the S4T-4N error from coding files. This caught my attention. I had seen that line of coding in some of my own codes before. It had never seemed to have any effect on the final product, so I had previously always ignored it. But as I listened, the lecture went on to explain that whilst it was a piece of code that had no effect on digital program functions, it seemed to have a psychological effect on programmers themselves. He recounted tales of young programmers committing suicide or dying under mysterious circumstances after having taken notice of the error without taking action against it. According to the lesson plan, if it were to show up anywhere at all in code, the best course of action was to rewrite the code from scratch and purge the original project completely from existence. Merely deleting the line of coding it was nested in was supposedly ineffective. Naturally, this was the cause of dismay for many of the students, as it seemed the error had occurred in almost everyone's projects. Hours of work lost, no one was particularly happy to have to redo everything because of a superstition. Of everyone, however, I believe I was the most affected. The error appeared repeatedly many times throughout my project, and it was the most work I had ever done for the class. After finding out I would have to restart the entire thing, which would take hours and hours, I made perhaps the stupidest decision of my life. I decided to simply remove the affected lines of code. After all, I was not willing to lose all that work, and the teacher probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. While everyone else complained, I boldly claimed my coding didn't have the error. Some regarded me with suspicion, others with jealousy, to which I paid no mind. It felt like I was suddenly the top of the class. This boost in confidence was all I needed to excel. It didn't matter that it was all a lie, because no one knew. When I returned home that night, I set Adeuce the coding to play some games, and it was as I closed the window that I noticed a file on the desktop. File S4T-4N. Naturally, I tried to delete the file only to find that it wouldn't delete. Rather, it flashed an error message each time it remained in place. I couldn't figure out how an error line of coding could somehow make itself into a file. Regardless, if it wouldn't delete, I'd reboot the system in safety mode and remove it from there. I tried this, and it seemed successful. That is, until everything had finished loading. Then I could see that there were now multiple file copies of S4T-4N. Ignoring it didn't seem to help either. It was gradually causing my computer to glitch. Things like incredible slowness and inability to click on a simple task wore down my patience. A Google search on it turned up nothing on how to remove it. I even reluctantly tried to rewrite my entire coding project, only to find that no matter what I typed, the lines would automatically correct themselves to S4T-4N. It was as if my earlier decision to lie about its existence condemned me to live with my choice. Now, all of this happened a few days ago. Today, however, things escalated. I'd been keeping the infected laptop turned off in my room and bought a new one until I could figure out what to do with it. When I booted up the brand new device, the startup logo was not that of any normal operating system. Instead, the single word appeared, S4T-4N. How did my new computer get infected without being connected to the old one? The only thought I had was that the virus had somehow infected the network, so that when I connected my new PC to the Wi-Fi, the virus jumped to it. This might sound strange, but I feel guilty now. I've been trying to hide the fact that this virus has infected all my devices from my classmates. I know if they see it, they'll think I'm cheating. I suppose that's probably because I am. Still, they don't need to know. There's no way they can know. So then, why is everyone staring at me? It started when I went to class. I sat down, pulled out my laptop, looked up, and everyone, I mean everyone, in my class was looking at me. I had expected them to go back to working on their own projects, but they didn't. Just kept their unblinking gaze on me. Unsettled, I left class early. However, when I stepped into the elevator to leave, the people in the elevator turned to stare as well. I averted my gaze to the ground uncomfortably when I noticed on the shoe of one of the people was the letter S. It was out of place, and, confused, I cautiously looked at the others. Two occupants were wearing identical shirts that said 4. Another had the letter T tattooed onto their arm, while the final person was holding a book with the single letter N on the cover. S4T-4N. I'm not ashamed to say I screamed and evacuated the lift as soon as was practical. The virus had infected my life. People on the street stared as I walked past. Dogs barked, and street graffiti spelled out the same 5 characters. S4T-4N. This was all days ago. I haven't slept since. I can't believe that my stubborn choice not to restart my programming project after being told to has led to all of this. People are lining up outside my door. I see them when I peek out the window. They seem to know exactly where I am within the house as they shift their bodies to face whichever area I'm inhabiting at the time. I get the feeling that they're waiting for something, though what, I cannot determine. I only know I have to get out. There's only one thing I think I can do. I need to disappear, end myself before they decide to end me. This is my final letter. I can't let them get me. Let what's happened here be a warning in the future that anyone who ever sees the combination of S4T-4N and their programming, delete it. The whole project right away, and just go dark on all electronics for a week. Then buy all new devices. Stop the spread of this thing. Your life depends on it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. I want to give a huge thanks to all of my supporters over at Patreon and YouTube memberships. Your support makes these narrations possible, and I appreciate it a ton. If you'd like to join these lovely ghouls, you can head on over to my Patreon at patreon.com/ClancyPasta, or click the join button below to become a member. And if you'd like creepy cool shirts, make sure to head on over and check out my official merch store for some awesome tees, hoodies, stickers, and more. Alright, thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great night. Cheers.